What if someone you lost who had died returned? This episode of Afterbuzz TV is brought to you by the powerful and riveting new drama, Resurrection. You won't be able to stop watching or talking about it. Resurrection premiering on Sunday night, March 9th at 9/8 Central, only on ABC. You're not going to want to miss it.
Caleb Richards died 2001. Jacob Langston died 1982. Rachel Braidwood died 2000.
On Sunday, March 9th,
I'm coming home.
they will return.
Daddy!
Jacob. Resurrection.
How is this possible?
The television series event premieres Sunday, March 9th on ABC.
You're listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The Afterbuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Afterbuzz TV's The Bachelor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's Afterbuzz TV's The Bachelor After Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Afterbuzz TV. Whoa.
You're like a dream come true.
Gotta let it sit in for a second.
Just wanna be with you.
This is Afterbuzz TV's Bachelor After Show. We are down one host tonight.
Juan host?
Our own Juan Carlos.
Juan host?
JC Rubio.
JC!
He's gone tonight. He will be back. I'm shooting pens everywhere. I don't even know what's going on tonight. It is late, but we're here. We're going to recap the hometown date episode of The Bachelor. I'm Cathy Kelley, filling in for JC, and across the table from me, Danny Hoyt.
Danny Hoyt filling in for JC as well.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah. But
guys, we're excited to be here.
We are excited to be here. We are also going to do a recap of tomorrow's overnight date episode, just because it looks so juicy and so dramatic.
Juicy, to say the least. Oh my gosh!
Juicy? Ew. Okay, anyways, so before we get into tonight's episode, we have a little thing we want to share with you. So we're gonna kick it back to Roxy and Phil. They have something to talk to you about.
So here at AfterBuzz, we love to find new, incredible shows, and it seems like we just found one. ABC's Resurrection is coming on air, and I have a question for you, Phil.
Well, what is that question?
What if someone you loved, whether it be your grandfather or your mother, died and then 32 years later came back to life?
I would have so many questions. My mind works in this way. Are they the same person? Where do they come from? How do they fit back into this world? It's just crazy.
You'd probably have a roller coaster of emotions going along with all that, too. Are you scared? Are you excited? Different people will feel different things. And that's exactly what's happening with the residents of a small town called Arcadia in Missouri. All of these people start coming back from the dead. It starts with this 8-year-old boy named Jacob, who was dead for 32 years and now comes back to his parents' doorstep. I mean, as a parent, you're probably prepared for a lot of things, but I doubt they were prepared for this.
And you know what's even better than the premise? The actors involved. There's Omar Epps, which, you know, you being a girl, I know the girls are going crazy over him.
Ow, ow, what a hottie.
For me, Kirkwood Smith from that 70s show, he played Red. I'm excited to see him back on TV.
Yeah, we're going to need a talented cast because the emotions in this show are going to be high. It's definitely going to be up there.
And they cast it really well. Apart from those guys, there's tons of other people. So I'm excited. This is exactly the type of show that, as you said, AfterBuzz TV looks for. It lends itself for a water cooler talk. So I hope other people watch it. So I'm not the only one at the water cooler, but I have a feeling I won't be.
Oh, I definitely don't think you will be. And this new drama is different than the other ones that we've seen or the other ones that we cover. You know, it's not about these vampires or about aliens or zombies even. It's about exactly what it's called, Resurrection. And it premieres on Sunday, March 9th at 9/8 Central on ABC. And trust me, you are not going to want to miss it.
Roxy, thank you so much for filling us in on that drama. We have another ABC drama to talk about tonight, though. That is the Bachelor episode.
So much drama.
So much drama. I have never seen families hate The Bachelor as much as tonight.
Oh my gosh, the disapproval rating was lower than Barack Obama's. It was so bad right now. But terrible. I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah. So let's just start off with the first hometown date. Nikki, she lives in Kansas City, and of course she had to take Juan Pablo to get some real Kansas City barbecue.
Wait, before she does that though, I have to say this, because
Yes.
when they first saw each other, she actually was the only one to run to him.
Yeah.
She ran.
Yeah, I think that's cute.
It was cute.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I like, go Nikki. Go
If
get
you're
him.
if you're like so in love that you can't waste
You can't hold
5
your legs
seconds.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Restless leg syndrome too. But maybe.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
RLS.
So, she takes him to get some barbecue. He rides the bull, and she says it's hot watching Juan Pablo ride the bull. What do you think, Danny?
I thought it was so hot watching Juan Pablo ride the bull. You know what? The bull is fun. It doesn't. You don't have to be in Kansas City to ride the bull. Like you can, there's a bull on Sunset Boulevard. There's bulls on the East Coast. Like,
Yeah.
there's bulls everywhere.
I mean, I feel like it's hot for like girls to do that. Guys, like,
Yeah.
kind of meh.
That's what I was gonna say. The other way around. Like she gets up on the bull. I'm glued to the TV. Juan Pablo gets on the bull. I was like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like he was that great. Like he could have been. Yeah, he could represent for like. He got demasculated twice.
A little bit.
Well, that's more for later.
Yeah. So this was also, I feel like there was a lot of changes in the hometown dates this season, and I don't know if I'm just making this up in my head, but it seems like this is the first time where the people haven't been able to see their families before they go and they have that dinner with them.
Gosh, talk about like heartstrings, pulling up the heartstrings.
Seriously, I mean, it makes for better TV where they're crying when they actually do see their family. But it seemed a lot more intense. And then this was also one of the first seasons where I feel like the Bachelor or Bachelorette wasn't introduced to friends as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that element because, families are great. You get a lot of insight. But I feel like with the friends, it's a whole different level of comfortability. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of comfortability. And I think we were lacking that a little bit. Like, I wanted to see that. I would love to see what Claire's friends are like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would love to see Renee's friends. I bet they're the nicest people in the world.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's probably going to be like PTA mom.
She'll be PTA Mom of the Year for the next 14 years in a row. She'll have a whole mantle full of trophies.
We love Renee. Okay, so back to Nikki in Kansas City.
Yes, Nikki in Kansas City.
Before we get too off topic, Nikki, as we said, a lot of the Bachelorettes this season, they run in, hug their parents. Nikki was no exception. She runs in, hugs her mom in tears. It's obvious that she's close to her family. And during this dinner time, hometown date, she does an interview and she also tells her mom that she's in love with Juan Pablo, but she's not sure when she's going to tell him.
And in my opinion, it might be a fatal flaw. You gotta tell him if you feel it.
So this is another topic of discussion. When is the right time to tell that person?
Well, in real life or on the show?
Both.
Well, two different things.
Yeah.
On this show, I feel like that she's telling America, she's telling her family.
Yes.
I feel like right before he gets in the car, or not right before, but like you need to let him know.
You need a right moment, though, and I completely agree with Nikki. And I mean, I've been in this situation outside of The Bachelor, and you want to tell that person, but you can't because there's not a right time, or you're nervous that. I mean, she knows that her feelings aren't going to be reciprocated, or he's not going to be able to say, I love you back. Yeah. So I completely understand that. But on this show, it's also a lot of the contestants after coming off have said that it's just infatuation. You're not in love with that person. You're infatuated with them, and you're in love with the helicopter dates and the being whisked away to Thailand. Yeah, exactly. So
I just think if you have, in this show, in this set of circumstances, if you have the moment, if that's what you're feeling, if that's how you really feel, then say it. You got to go forward with it because you might not be around to say it. You know what I mean? If that's what you're feeling like. And here's my thought. I'm Juan Pablo in this situation. I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm not basing my decision based on whether or not a girl tells me she loves me, but when I'm thinking through like these 4 girls, okay, well, takes out the guesswork. Like, you know what? Nikki looked me in the eyes and said, I'm falling in love with you. I know she is, you know? I'm not wondering if, okay, well, if I send home Renee, who's like the best person in the world, and then I go to Nikki, what if she wasn't in love? You know, it takes out the guesswork. Like,
it does take out a little of the guesswork, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel like sometimes guys, they like the chase more so than girls. Like, girls like to be told that they're loved. Guys are like, they're interested in making a girl love them.
Interesting.
Just saying.
You've been seeing the wrong guys.
Clearly.
Anyways. You know what? And here's the thing about Nikki. And this is interesting. I'm sure you guys talked about this last week because I missed last week, guys, and I'm sorry. But when she met Camilla, and I know a lot of people said this was like the rumor patrol going around. She was the only one to meet Camilla. You know, obviously he's got it in for her. I still feel like she's not, and this is maybe why she didn't tell him she loves him, because she's not 100% sold, and she was a little like awkward with Camilla. She's a pediatric nurse.
You think? I don't think she was awkward with Camilla
I think
at all.
she was a little like...
She was, you know, thrust into that situation, giving no time to mentally prepare herself for meeting her potential husband's child. She found out, what, half an hour before, you know, like that same day that she was meeting Camilla and Carla.
I just thought it would be a bigger moment.
No, I know. I would say that it was very strange because the past few weeks we've seen this very almost overconfident Nikki where she's like, "Oh, I didn't get a rose? Yeah, I got a rose." Like,
and all of a sudden she's like taking a step back.
And this week she said, and I quote, I hope I'm around till next week to tell him how I feel." Like, she was not confident that she was getting, like, she thought she might, but she was not confident in getting a rose this week.
And therein lies the support. From my view, if you feel it, whether or not you feel like the moment might not be all like bunnies and butterflies and bubbles, like, you might just have to be like, "Look, JP, I think I'm falling in love with you."
I would argue that even though they should tell them, you know, when they feel like, it's not when you tell that person. If you're meant to end up with that person and you tell them a week later that you love them, like, I don't think that that's, if he's meant to end up with Nikki and she didn't say "I love you," that's not going to stop them from ultimately being together.
I agree, but in this format it's different.
I know.
And you have a chance to have a moment. You don't have a moment to have a chance. So does that mean that
it's not real and that you just, it's luck of the draw, essentially?
Yes, it's kind of, that's part of the thing here. You're weighing, you know, you're weighing a lot of things. It is a little bit of a gamble. I don't know. I just think she should have. But turns out she got a rose anyways.
Yes, she did.
So
the first rose, yet again.
Yet again with her fishtail braid.
Let's move on to Andi's hometown date. She, of course, is from Georgia.
Atlanta.
And she does some southern things. She takes Juan Pablo to a shooting range, which I loved. I did not expect this from Andi whatsoever. She is a really good shot. Juan Pablo, I can't say the same about, but
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
twice in one show. Like,
I'm sure they overplayed it. I mean,
oh yeah, but
whenever
still.
anyone. I have to say that I went to a shooting range, though, once, and I got a bullseye on the first try.
Get out of here. Is there video proof?
No.
Don't believe you. I went to a shooting range not too long ago for my brother-in-law's bachelor party. Speaking of my brother-in-law, my sister reminded me it's my half birthday today, and I told her I'd give her a half shout out. So, hey, and you.
No.
Anyways, it is to his credit, to Juan Pablo's credit, it is much harder. It's much harder than it looks. But I just, I know it was the editing, but like, she nailed it, and he's shooting and nothing.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad for him, but it was a very cool date.
It was a cool date.
It was a cool idea. It was a little crazier than things they've done together.
Props to Andi.
Props to Andi. Get him, Andi.
Take out some pent-up aggression on the girls.
You know what? I'm surprised she didn't have something funnier for the target. Like, I would have liked to see
This is Claire.
There's something witty slide in. It's Claire's face. Botox.
That would be really bad, actually.
It would. ABC wouldn't let that fly. But for us, the viewers.
Not if they want her to be the next Bachelorette.
Uh-oh. Anyways.
So, Andi takes Juan Pablo home to meet the fam. And Juan Pablo brings flowers and chocolates, which I thought was cute, which I think he did for every family.
Did he?
I don't know. I noticed it this time. In this date when he was walking up to their house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You might be right. I remember flowers and all.
Yeah. So he meets the family, and before dinner, they sit down. Dad is very skeptical.
She said she saw it in the first 5 minutes.
Yes. And he was mad that Juan Pablo didn't take Andi on a one-on-one date for so long. He was just thinking that it was infatuation, not actual love. He was upset that Juan Pablo's dating 3 other girls. I mean, typical dad concerns.
Yeah, fair and very valid. I actually thought what the dad felt is probably what most dads feel. I think that he voiced it in a way. I think he did actually a pretty good job of like trying to express. You know what I mean? I would feel that way. I'm trying to put myself in this guy's shoes. I like the way he said it. You know what I mean? Like if and when that time comes, tell me that there's nobody else in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and then he followed it up with a tagline. But you're dating 3 other.
I was waiting for one of the dads or moms or someone in the family to just say, "Well, how would you feel if Camilla, when she grows up, was dating a guy who was dating 3 other women?"
Yeah. Yeah. That.
How would you feel?
He would have cried. Juan Pablo's an emotional guy.
I know.
He would have gotten teary-eyed and been like, "You're so right. Oh my God." And he might have proposed to Andi on the spot. You're right. She's the one. But I have to say this because I thought this was a really funny moment. They're sitting in the living room and Juan Pablo asks how long they've been married. And he goes, "Oh, we've been married 30 years." And he goes, "Oh, how's it going?" Like, that's what he followed it. "Oh, so how's it going?" He's like, "It's going great."
What are they going to say? Like, we sleep in separate bedrooms? What does he expect them to say?
It was good.
Yeah. And I did notice, and I'm always in tune to this, just the editing of certain things. I always wonder, whether the one-on-one interviews with the girls and the guy are actually from that day. But it seemed like they cut together one of Andi's things where she said, "My parents have been together for 30 years. I can only one day hope to have that." And then it cuts, and it's like, "for us." So I think they took the "for us" from something else.
Oh,
Otherwise,
really?
she would have said that on camera, but they cut to B-roll before she said "for us."
Okay. Wow.
So.
Excellent.
It's just, it's storytelling. She could have said it in some other way, but they just wanted that concise clip. I don't know what it was, but I noticed that editing bit there. So I loved also Andi's mom seemed a little feisty. She said that she was upset that Juan Pablo didn't ask her if it was okay to propose to Andi.
Yeah, I like Andi's mom. I think that's where Andi gets her little feistiness, her little lawyer feistiness. I like the whole thing with their mom, like the whole moments with their mom. She talked about the dancing, and then he calls Andi in, and they dance in front of her mom. A little awkward, but at the same time, I like it. You know what I mean? She got to know like him and spontaneity, and that was good.
It was kind of smooth on Juan Pablo's part saying, "Oh, well, let me bring in Andi."
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an excellent move, and I got to get it. Like, JP, that was good.
Smooth.
Well, because it was going to be him and her, which would have been the ultimate awkward thing.
I don't know that it would have been super awkward, but there would have been, like, a hint of awkwardness.
Okay.
Yeah. They have just met each other. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But I love that he called Andi in. That was a great move.
Yeah.
And she
but if this is going to be her future son-in-law, I totally understand them,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
so.
Okay.
Overall, what'd you think of this hometown date, though?
I thought I was hoping she would get a little more reassurance than she did, like from her sister. But you know what? That's a good reality check for her because I think that, like you mentioned, like the infatuation thing, like anytime you can get someone from somewhere or something that has you a moment that jars you, like it takes you maybe back to reality for a second.
That's what hometown dates are, is I feel like this is the first time they're setting foot in reality in 8 weeks. Like they've had every single day they're told you're supposed to be falling in love with this one guy who's also dating a bunch of other people. Like you almost feel like that's normal, and to have people from the outside, people who aren't producers, telling you like, this isn't normal. Like being on a TV show to meet someone is not normal. Having a guy that you're dating date this many other people is not normal. So take a step back from the situation and look at it for what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's a great. I just like Andi, and we'll see what happens.
I like Andi too.
Overall, I had a good impression of it. Yeah, I think it was good. It was wholesome.
I like her family. They seem like they all have good heads on their shoulders, despite the tension that there was clearly.
But it's valid, and here's I guess what I'm trying to say is it's validated tension. Like, it was a wholesome love. It came from a place of like, look, we care about you. We're not dissing Juan Pablo. Yeah. This is just weird. We want to make sure you're making the right decision because we care about you. And they said it with like open arms. Yeah. So that was my thing with it.
Next up, Renee brings Juan Pablo to Sarasota, Florida.
Can we just say for a minute, when they first see each other, JP says,
Welcome to Sarasota.
Oops. What? He welcomed Renee to Sarasota.
Was he welcoming himself? He's like, welcome to Sarasota, Juan Pablo. Oh, Renee.
Was that your Juan Pablo accent?
I don't know.
It was pretty good. Anyways. Yeah. And then they cut to her in front of the ocean, and she says, it's been 2 months since I've seen my son. I miss him so much. I'm literally might eat him. It made me like her more. Yeah. That was a great comment.
So Juan Pablo ends up meeting her son.
Right, 2.5 minutes after she sees him for the first time in 2 months. Like, talk about an emotional moment.
I almost wanted to be like, go away, Juan Pablo. Like, let her have a second. Like, she's like, oh, your teeth are going in, you're taller. Like in tears. Like, let her have a moment with it. And he's like, hello, nice to meet you. I am dating your mother.
Hello.
Like, get away from her. You're a jerk.
He's not a jerk for it.
He's a jerk. You do not meet someone's child and then dump them. Like,
well, guys, Cathy Kelley feels very serious about this one. Pablo's a jerk for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a jerk.
We can talk about it later on, but I feel like he should not have let her stay that long, not being able to see her son. On past seasons, they've been able to see their kids. At least, like, the Bachelor, whoever it is, will surprise them with a one-on-one date, and their kid will show up or something like that. And
you think that was producer's call? I mean, unfortunate situation.
But he didn't need to keep her around that long and then.
Oh, not Renee. I just mean the moment of like meeting Ben.
Yeah. So he meets her son. They have that moment, and I want to know. I mean, I'm assuming Renee said yes to Juan Pablo meeting the son. She would have had to.
Yeah, she would have had to prove that.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was interesting when they go to her house. They get there, and her mom says, so the adventures, they've been fun to Juan Pablo. And he says, they've been great. And he says, and you and Renee. And he said, we've been good. I thought that was really interesting. It was like a little telltale sign, you know what I mean? It was like a little foreshadowing. Yeah. And they were back-to-back questions. And I just thought that's a big difference, you know what I mean? So.
They seemed like the family that was most on board with everything, though.
On board, grounded, understanding of, I know it's a crazy situation, but sometimes love is crazy.
Yeah.
And this happens, and if it's happening for you, then we love you, and okay, you know?
Welcoming, yeah.
Yes, and I felt
very reflective of Renee as well.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately, validating, or should have validated his feelings for Renee, knowing it's not just for the camera, she is this person in real life.
Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah, that's a good point. And even her dad said, I can see the glow. Said, I haven't seen it in a long time.
She said that she hasn't been in love, and like she hasn't dated, she hasn't even, we'll talk about this later, her exit interview, I'm like, oh.
I know.
I love you. And then I think, was it on this date where the mom said, you can love your dog. We don't need pets. Yeah.
You can love your pets, but you're not in love with your dog.
You're not in love with your pets is what she was getting at. I love that quote.
I didn't understand it first. I had to think about it twice. That's clever.
Yeah.
And then
Clare. I don't think that I have seen this awkward of a hometown date since Desiree's brother.
Yes.
Bombarded Sean. Whoa. Holy whoa.
Look, first of all, let's talk about this. I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
It looks like Clare went home before this date and got some fresh Botox. Well, it just looks like she was like...
I have never noticed until this week. I thought she might have had like veneers put in, which is minor, very minor. But it seemed like she looks very different than her family.
She was in her hometown, man. She went to her hometown doctor and was ready to, she was comfortable, She wanted to make the best impression.
Yeah.
Get him, Clare.
I do want to talk about some more serious stuff on this date, though.
Yes.
They open up with, they're in the park, they feed the geese. Claire tells him why she brought him there, which was actually a very cute story about how her and her dad used to go there all the time. And then I completely understand the whole, like, missing part of your family. Like, she wanted her dad to be there to meet her husband for that validation. Like, I totally understand that.
When she said the thing about the daddy-daughter dance and him, you know, saying, well, then pick a song and play it, and they had the moment, it was maybe the most real moment I've seen from Claire. You know what I mean? She's had a couple moments where she's teared up about her dad and about the family, but like that moment was something different, and that was her really like opening up I don't know, a space for Juan Pablo to like. That was good. Vulnerability, you know, relatability equals.
But that's honestly the only
ratings.
thing that I feel like she's been relatable to this entire season, in my opinion.
On what front?
Just like her connection that she's had with her dad.
Yeah.
The rest of it seems a little contrived. But going back to ABC's Resurrection, I would bring back my grandparents to meet my future whoever.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like I miss that validation. Like, I want my entire family to be there. And while I have my mother, like, they're the missing, you know. Yeah. Anyways, so I totally relate to her on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So they did seem a little PDA-ish at this public park. Let's just talk about that for
Let's talk about if Renee's son was there. If Renee was sitting on another bench and Ben was running around, and you look over and Claire's just on Juan Pablo's lap, I feel like Renee would be like, Ben, let's go this way a little bit. Let's go over here a little bit.
There's a discontinuity. I don't know. Where Juan Pablo always talks about how he wants to set a good example for his daughter and blah, blah, blah. But then with Claire, like, is that the exception? Like, it's okay to just have her sitting on your lap in a public park?
I guess so.
Flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper is the word.
He's a bigger flip-flopper than a politician.
That was the best accent you've ever done of any accent ever. That was great. But then let's move on to this, because her family dynamics were what made this awkward.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one brother, like Dez's brother, or one. It was
the entire collective family.
Yes. Yes. It was just weird. From Mama and Lara standing in the shadows.
It was very uncomfortable, and I was trying to pinpoint one thing, but there were just so many things that like I couldn't tell if they were okay or like they weren't, and I got this. This is really harsh, and I'm just going to preface saying that because I don't want to come off like a mean girl and saying, like, I felt like some of the time I was like, her family kind of seems like a cult in, like, the way that they all, like, pounced on her and whatever, but I don't know, like, I don't feel like she is a genuine person. Like, there's something off there.
Yeah.
There's just something completely off, because if you go to your family, like, they might be upset that, you know, like, with Andi's family, they might not approve of the guy,
but they're your family.
They should still approve of you.
Yes.
And it seemed very weird.
And I'll say this, for one saving grace of the whole, the moment he had with Mama, I want to say
Mama.
With Mama, where they spoke in another language, and they kind of had, you know, they had a little moment. It was like the saving grace of the entire experience for me.
And I think that was the only time when he was comfortable in that entire situation.
His instant, like, demeanor changed instantly, but like when Claire's sitting there and Mama and then Laura just like gets up, arms crossed, and stands there and like then relinquishes herself to the shadows. Yeah. Claire's like, what are you doing?
And I was wondering whether it was because she was the baby of the family, and she does, I don't know how old her siblings are. She seems a lot younger than her siblings, so I don't know if she was just babied her entire life, and they've always told her what she should be doing, what's right, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Maybe. I mean, you could definitely tell that what they say matters. Like, she seeks their approval because she was seeking it and they didn't give it, and it hurt her.
I'm just going to say, though, if she's not picked at the end, I do not see her being the next Bachelorette.
Oh, agreed. 100%.
A lot of people have been saying or not a lot of people, most people I feel like have been saying Andi or Renee, but I think this killed her chances.
Yeah.
Even Des saved it a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Well, America's already divided on her, if not flip-flopped the wrong way. You know what I mean? So this only made it worse.
Yeah.
So, what was your overall impression of
tonight?
No, Claire's.
Oh, Claire's awkward.
Out of the four,
uncomfortable.
The worst one?
By far the worst one. By far.
Okay.
And I didn't know, part of me was like, okay, I could see like myself liking this family. It's just not Claire. And then the other part, I was like, I don't like this family. Maybe I do like. I can't tell with her. I really can't tell.
And that's not a good sign.
Because it's not. It doesn't come off as genuine.
You should be able to know.
Yeah. And I wonder if Juan Pablo sees that. But clearly, it seems like she's the hot girl he can't dump. The crazy girl, hot girl.
Yet
he can't break up with her.
She hasn't met Camila.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So, tomorrow night's episode looks like it is going to be a doozy. Everyone is shedding tears. Oh, well, let's talk about the rose ceremony first.
Let's talk about this first. Claire walks in first.
Of course, the producers bring in Nikki right after.
Well, let's talk about the dresses also.
Yeah.
Because Claire's dress...
Gorgeous.
Claire's dress is pretty, but it's like... It reminded me of...
Claire's dress is sexy.
Underwear.
Yeah. Claire's dress is sexy. It's pushing up her little Claire's. And then Nikki walks in, bombshell.
Nikki walks in, bombshell. Actually, Nikki, that might have been the best Nikki. I feel like that is my favorite Nikki moment of all season. When she walked in, I was like... She
always
looks good, but it was like a very like natural,
it's
like
natural
didn't have to
hot,
try.
Yeah.
She didn't have to try, you know what I mean? Andi was like, and I think we said this.
Sophisticated sexy.
Yeah, like an elegant sexy. And then Renee walks in and...
I feel like the Andi sexy, like the elegant, classy sexy, which we also saw from Charlene a lot, is almost more attractive than the, boobs in your face as I wear a booby dress. But I feel like that's more attractive than what Claire was wearing.
Yeah.
As hot as Claire was that night.
As hot as Claire was that night, if I had to choose, it wouldn't be Claire.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
So, and then what do you think
there.
of Renee's dress?
Renee, you know what? Renee looked to me like somebody who...
She looked pretty.
She looked very pretty. She looked like a mom, but that she's confident. Like she knows I don't need to come out and put my boobs in your face. I don't need to come out and show you a bunch of my skin. I'm gonna come out in me and like this. I know it's a pretty dress. I look good, but like what matters is who I am.
Yeah.
Not what I look like.
So first during the rose ceremony, he calls Nikki. Then he calls Claire. Then he calls Claire.
Yep.
Then he calls Andi.
And that moment was tough for everyone because I feel like at that moment, America was like, dang it, Juan Pablo, you just threw away the best girl out of the four.
She is by far the best on paper for him. And I think that we also heard tonight, there was another quote, and I forget which family member said this, but it was, you need to look for a wife and someone that you have chemistry with over looking just for a stepmom for Camilla.
Yeah.
And
As
I
Andy's
wonder
dad.
if that was kind of his tipping point. Although I think that Renee had both.
Yep.
He's an idiot.
I feel like, honestly, like he lost a giant number of people.
If he was looking for the stepmom for Camilla, Renee, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. And also for someone to like compatibility-wise with him, he might not see it all the way. I don't know what he's like. We saw it all season.
Total
nurturing,
package,
supportive. Nobody hated her. There was never drama.
Everyone always went to her.
Yep.
For advice. She was kind of the mother of the house.
She's the glue. She's the glue. And she's been the glue that keeps your family, you know what I mean?
And she said nothing but good things about him when she did the exit interview. She's like, you don't find a person like him every day.
Yeah.
All around class act.
Even the way like she walked out, he had her arm around her,
so
and
elegant.
she had her arm around him. You know what I mean? Like that moment, she probably wants to be like this.
She could have easily, been like, don't touch me. You wasted my time. But she was very mature.
Yeah.
So.
I did like the black on black on black on black look for JP though. That was good.
And the neon bracelets.
And the neon bracelet
like
that just sticks right out all the time. Holy moly.
So, predictions, I guess, for tomorrow night's episode.
Gosh, what could happen?
Gotta do this.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Cathy Kelley, what, in your opinion, happens that makes all three girls shed tears and confused out of their mind?
Juan Pablo confesses, I have the crabs. I don't know. I have no idea what happens.
Yet another accent from Cathy Kelley. No, really, what could happen that would make
Honestly, I have no idea.
Zero. I mean, usually,
I think that they're all crying for different reasons, though. I don't think
that's
that it's...
editing.
the same reason. And from what it sounds like, or what it looks like, Andi tries to leave before the camera crews come back in the morning. So that's got to be something huge.
Doozy, I believe is the word
Yes,
used.
it is a doozy. But yeah, I think that all of them would cry regardless on the... It's just emotions are high. If you are in love with someone and you don't know whether they're in love with you or one of the two other girls that they're with, obviously, like, I would cry. I would probably cry a lot more than any of the girls do on the... Yeah, so, cool.
Cool. Well, I'm really curious to see what happens. I think that there's potential, I'm just going to throw this out there, that one of, like, not one of the girls ends up being with him.
Well, he has to send one of them home.
But I'm saying that, like, that, I mean, I think I know who he picks, in my opinion.
Okay, me too.
But
yeah,
I don't think they're still together.
Really?
Out of the final three, I can't see any one of them that he's, like, sold, and it's still happening.
I think that he could be sold on a girl, but I don't know that any of the final three work into his lifestyle.
Yep.
100%. Which is the most important thing. And they haven't had that opportunity yet to really explore that.
Which maybe they'll have those 12 hours in the fantasy suite instead of...
But it's not even that. It's after The Bachelor is done taping, getting back to normal life. And to this point, they haven't been able to go out in public yet. Whoever it is probably hasn't moved to... Miami or whatever. So they haven't had that opportunity to get back to a normal life. And that's what's going to be the make or break.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for tomorrow.
I am very excited for tomorrow. If you guys have your own opinions, please leave us comments on YouTube, rate, subscribe, and tell a friend about our iTunes. You can go to iTunes, type in AfterBuzz TV, find all of our Bachelor podcasts, and we're gonna come and do an after show tomorrow night.
We are.
So tweet us, your predictions for what you think happens in those fantasy suites. I don't even know what that was.
I think they were crickets.
Crickets. Cool.
Accident.
Accidental crickets, guys.
So, until tomorrow, where can they find you?
Find me at Danny Hoyt. DANNYHOYT. Guys, I really want to know, like, what do you think happened? What could happen if they're all three crying?
No breaking idea. You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley. You can also check out my Chatting with Cathy episodes. I do interviews, and they are on AfterBuzz TV's iTunes and YouTube page as well. So subscribe, rate, and comment on that as well. We will be here tomorrow night doing a show, 11 p.m. JC Rubio should be back, and we will all be our very happy Bachelor family.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.